Hello, hello. Welcome in to the Gale Force Studios. I'm your host, Ronnie West. Welcome back to High Traffic Ideas. This is the first time we're going live, so we're attempting to kind of manage all of this stuff, and we hope that you guys enjoy. If you have any comments, just post them down below. I'll be able to see them and be able to comment back and answer any of your questions that you might have. So the first episode, we kind of hit on the Google business profile and how that's so important, almost as important as your website. And we want to make sure that you're focusing and working on that as much as you can. One of the questions I got today, what can we be doing to help better our imprint on the overall online experience? And obviously I told him it was the local aspect of your Google business profile. And the second thing I said, which is going to be today's, actually, we're going to do this early. I'm not going to make you wait. It is today's high traffic idea of organic blog posting. It is the most important thing I think that you can do to help your SEO. And it's something that essentially, if you have the time and effort to kind of get the information and understand how to kind of create and post blogs, it is by far probably one of the best ROI investments that you could do. So we're going to take a look at the different reasons why posting blog articles on your website is super important. And if you have questions, this is something that I do quite a bit. Me and my team, we post blogs for a lot of different companies, from mainly obviously in the window film space, but the automotive and throughout just different areas that we kind of create different custom blogs for our customers. And so just no different from your Google business profile, I've always felt that having some sort of blog on your website is essentially like a 24-hour sales department. Your blogs are digital sales. They're going to be there when anybody is looking at your website, whether you're open or not. And so providing that information, I think, is of the utmost importance to make sure that you can kind of create those educated customers, like I've talked about, whether it's presentations or on different podcasts as well. Blogs work 24/7. They're answering all of your customers' questions, kind of pre-qualifying leads, and doing a lot of different important aspects when you're not on the phone or if you're busy focusing on your business, which I think is the biggest thing that I hear from so many people, is that you don't have time to do this. You don't have the knowledge to kind of fully understand exactly what's needed. You don't know how to actually post it on your website. And when you do, I'm guessing that the majority of people aren't making sure that there's specific SEO package kind of involved in creating it so that Google can see the blog versus just kind of posting something and Google doesn't know that it's there. So let's back up for a second. So anytime someone is going in and asking a question, one of the ones that I mentioned or that I was reading about beforehand is like, why is my car so hot? How do I reduce glare? Like, what can I do to prevent the sun hitting my eyes when I'm driving? And finding a way to kind of create not so much a story, but kind of a narrative as far as what can be done for this problem. And again, that's going to kind of be the reoccurring theme that you're going to hear, is that blogs will help you solve your customers' problems. And with that, a lot of times people that are doing ads, and many people will realize, is that typically the keyword and stuff that you're bidding on is 2 to 3, maybe 5 words at most. And what a blog can do is kind of curate to a long tail keyword. And that's something that's going to be, whether it's a longer sentence or some sort of question that someone is inputting into their Google search. And that's a way that you can kind of have that question throughout the blog and kind of detail and be like, hey, this is what we're answering with this thing. And one of the main points of that is, again, your problem solving. And problem solving over promotion. I think a lot of people, when you're going to go look for a new service or a new product, you're not wanting to be inundated with a bunch of sales. You either want to know, what can this product or service provide? What problem does it solve? and how can I find out more information, even if this is what I want. I want to know, how does this work? What does it do? How can it benefit me? What are the long-term ramifications of it? And then typically, if you're a smart shopper, you're going to go and look around and then eventually come back to the one that makes the most sense. As well as with all of the problem solving, the more and more that you actually are doing these blog posts, it's going to put you in a point of authority. You're you're educating people, and thus you're kind of creating that atmosphere where someone's going to want to come back and learn more things. At least for me, anytime that I've had a really good college professor or a really good teacher, you're excited for that next class that you're getting. And so this is no different with kind of the blog posts that you'll be putting up, is going to be educating and letting people know, hey, this is what's coming next. If they're, and even if you create like a cliffhanger at the end of every article where they're going to come back to the next one, that's where I think those kind of educational pieces that you're putting out there are going to be super beneficial to the organic SEO. And like we've mentioned before, and even going through and searching some of the why is my car so hot and how to reduce glare, I didn't see one single window film post until it was way at the bottom. To me, obviously, when you're going through, we've talked about this before, you're going to see kind of the Gemini AI results at the top. Then there's going to be some sponsor blogs. And one of the things that I mentioned that probably could be something that's beneficial that I definitely have lacked in doing is kind of putting the problem into a Reddit question and then obviously answering those whenever you see that kind of come up. And then below that, there's been a lot more, whether it's wear sunglasses, use your visor, get a window shade. And so that's where I think a lot of the window film companies can kind of get into that space as far as answering a lot of those questions, because there aren't any blogs about it. One of the biggest things that I think can help with that organic SEO is that Google loves fresh content. It loves when you put new updates or new photos into your gallery, whether that's into your Google business profile or onto your website gallery. But also that includes blog posting. For a lot of the customers that we do, we typically are just doing about 2 blogs a month with follow-ups on social, where some of our customers wanted us to do weekly posts. And for me, I'm personally trying to get to a point where we're doing 2 or 3 posts a week. And that's where I'm definitely seeing with some of our customers and some of our partner companies that you're able to kind of get in and actually start to see some progress. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. And that's what I think a lot of customers have always are thinking that's coming with a lot of blog posts. And as I've talked about before, you have to think of them as a lobster trap. You're going to write this blog, put it out into the ocean of the internet, and then you're going to wait and reel in whatever is going to come back later on. Chances are you might have 2 or 3 lobsters in there. Sometimes you might have 20. It just depends. And it could be something that that same lobster trap is still sitting out there 5, 6 months from now, and it's still collecting new people. So that's something to think about too. If for whatever reason your budget constraints happen and you can't be doing the blog or the Google ads or any other ads at the time, just because your budget doesn't allow it, putting up some organic blog posts is something that's definitely going to help. Yes, it's much longer term thinking, but obviously it's free if you're doing it yourself, or it's going to be much more cost effective if you're working with an agency that's doing that for you. Another vital part of kind of creating the blog posts and doing different articles is going to be the local SEO kind of multiplication. So one of the things that we've been talking to a lot of our customers with has been the creation of case study blogs or project blogs, like specifically talking about a project that you're working on. I've got a customer who's was putting in decorative film in an airport, just kind of the lobby windows, whether it's for like the United Club or some of these different little glass enclosures or suites. You want to have some sort of privacy. And so specifically talking about the decorative film, the frosted film, whether it's a gradient film, whatever that you're specifically installing, and then talking about the location of where this is happening, as well as the problem that it's solving. So you're kind of checking off a whole bunch of different boxes as far as the SEO ramifications and how that can help. You're just going to make sure that you're creating a highly specific and curated blog post that's going to talk about one specific project or issue that this person's having. And obviously, if you do that for every one of your jobs that you're going to, one, it's especially in your local market. People are going to recognize it when they're going past, whether it's in an airport lobby that they're going past frequently, or if it's an office tower where they're seeing kind of the reflective film and now they don't see that much anymore, or if it's a digital, not a digital, if it's a storefront that's putting up a vinyl decal. That's something that might be memorable as you're walking past. It's colorful, it's got some kind of pop to it, and that's something that kind of jumps out versus a plain glass window. So highlighting and making sure that you're making a point to kind of say, hey, this is the problem we solve for this customer in this area, and we can help you too. Chances are that's essentially going to work over time almost as good or more effective than kind of bidding on specific keywords. One of the things that you can also do with that blog, especially if it's one of those highly curated pieces where you're talking about a specific project, is if you've done a video or posted a YouTube kind of tutorial on what you did, or just kind of a highlight video, you can then take, if you ever look onto Instagram or YouTube and you click those three dots, and whether it's to share it, you'll see embed. And you can take that embed code and put it into your blog. So then you kind of create this circle where if somebody is going onto your blog post, they're reading the information, then they're seeing, oh, here's their social media content. And yes, you might not want them to jump off of your page, but then they can go there, see and follow you, and hopefully get future information about the different topics or projects that you're working on. So that's just another piece to kind of bring people around. And then obviously you can post about that blog post on your social, which would then bring people back. So it's just this big circle that you can kind of create with your following and continue to kind of drive traffic to your business, or to get more views if that's something that you're looking for on your social media. Another big thing that you can do with blogs, and it's something that I've kind of hit the hammer a bunch over the last couple of weeks, is creating that informed customer. And I think that's probably the most important part of all of this is, one, again, you're solving a problem, but you can also answer any objections that a customer might have through the sales process. And that's something that you can pick up on. If you get a lot of customers asking the same questions, whether it's right before they're doing the purchase or something after, if it's more of the post installation questions that they're having and issues that they might be thinking of, you can kind of create blog posts around any of those things. I think one of the things that Patrick and I have talked about in the past, if you've watched Marketing Mondays, is that maybe keep a notepad by your phone or by the cashier or wherever your point of sale is, and kind of jot down after the fact of a question that you keep getting from certain customers. And that's something, one, you can create a social media post around, you can create a blog post around. I think having that ability to kind of keep track of certain questions or comments that people are getting, and if it's something that you're noticing 60% of our customers are asking the same question, and it's whether it's about the maintenance of it or the preventative issues that might come with it, like write those down and then kind of curate a blog piece around that. We live in a great age now where you can, one of the customers, I would take their LinkedIn post, which was a couple sentences and some images, and you can kind of create a whole 800, 900 word blog post around it that's highly SEO optimized, that's going to target and talk about specific locations. And again, you're going to solve that problem. And that's the biggest thing, is the more and more of these that you do, it's just a compounding effect. It's something no different than compound interest with the stock market or just whatever extra daily use. The more and more that you do of these versus the blogs or versus ads, it's all, like I mentioned, if you have to turn off your ads, they're not going to work anymore because you're not being seen. Whereas if you're consistently posting blogs, and if you have to turn off those ads for whatever reason, those blogs are still going to be showing up organically. And the more that you do, more Google's going to see, the higher that's going to push you up on page one. And I think that's what people are looking for, is trying to figure out what's the best way to make sure that, one, I'm being seen, I'm not falling on page two or below, whether it's helping your map pack kind of show up. I think having some of these organic pieces and adding those to your website is something that's extremely important. So I hope that that's something that makes a lot of sense. If you do have any questions, you can always reach out. You can email me at ronnie@imagnetmgt.com. I'll put it down in the comments or down in the description of this on the YouTube channel. If you did come by and stop by and watch, I definitely appreciate it. We're going to try to keep some of these short. Sometimes when we're with a guest, we'll do some longer episodes. But to me, I just felt like, hey, blogs are something that's very important. I don't think it's talked about a lot. It's kind of the what's the word? It's kind of the underworking element to your marketing package that I think a lot of people overlook and don't realize how important it is. And I just want to make sure that people are thinking about these different aspects, because the game is changing. Just as me and Patrick talked about last time, anybody who didn't use the internet in the past and said, I'm not going to build a website, like there's no point in that, they got left in the dust if they were a brick and mortar store. And then the same thing happened again with the social media, where it's like, hey, I'm not going to post anything, I don't really need to. And I'm sure plenty of people are realizing and wishing that they would have started many years before, and now they're kind of falling behind. And the thing is, right now, there is a changing of the guard as far as what AI can do and the jobs that it's, and the ability to get you in front of people. And if you're not utilizing AI and using it, whether it's to create blogs, to kind of give different ideas and concepts, just this whole thing, I kind of came up with, give me some talking points that I can kind of bounce around. And that's the way that you can utilize AI in a way that, one, you can create content, it can give you more ideas. I'm sure there's plenty of people who have different ideas and don't know how to just take that and put it into something. Have a conversation with an AI, and it'll help you kind of create different pieces and curate things. So if anything, I hope that you guys can look up some more of this stuff, do your own research. And again, if you have questions, please reach out. We want to help at iMagnet because we know that blogs are the future. So again, I'm Ronnie West. I'm glad that you guys stopped by. This has been High Traffic Ideas, and we'll see you guys next time.